serve, love, meditate, realize. Then another man who had reached the final stage of becoming a fully fledged Swami. All his hair was shaved off. He can then decide to grow it again or not. But if not, he must be shaved clean each month. The first ritual of shaving leaves only a tiny tuft, or choti, symbolizing no attachment to the world, except to one's guru. And when a man finally becomes a sannyasi, a renunciate, there is no attachment at all. By the banks of the Ganges at Rishikesh, I watched the final ceremony of this young man's renunciation, the symbolic cutting off of the choti performed by Swami Chidananda himself. It was a significant moment for Chidananda too, for it was here in 1949, nearly 20 years ago, that his own guru, Swami Shivananda, the leader and founder of the Divine Life Society, had performed this ceremony on him. 3 times immersed in Ganga Maya, Mother Ganges, before receiving his saffron robe and touching the feet of Chidananda. Finally, the act of complete separation from his previous state, casting his loincloth into the sacred waters. By the waters of the Ganges at Rishikesh, the place of religion, in the area of Devaloka, the home of gods, another young man had attained to the highest order of Hinduism, one who aspires to achieve complete control of his senses. This must be one of the most solemn practices in Hindu ritual. And yet here it was, this final act, performed in the open, on any old heap of stones by the river, watched over by the usual inquisitive crowd of layabouts, and ignored completely by the young, who had other dreams to attend to. Chidananda's quarters at the ashram are small and simple. Like all the rooms here, his too is sparsely furnished. Within these few square feet, he lives and controls the Divine Life Society. A regular visitor is the barber. With characteristic humility, Swami Chidananda returns the greeting. Once a Swami has decided to lose his hair, he must be shaved clean every month. It seemed incredible to me that this simple room should be the powerhouse of an organization with branches not only in India, but also in the major countries of the West. And that this austere, unassuming man was the dynamo. Here he writes, dictates letters, receives visitors, listens to their problems, and proffers advice, both worldly and spiritual. Here too he sleeps, eats, performs his yogic exercises, and prays. Sannyasis have no money, so the barber is paid by the ashram. But Chidananda can present him with prasad, food which has been offered to the gods. The walls of the ashram have many mottos, exhorting the inmates to keep the tenets of the Divine Life Society. In April of this year, as president of the Divine Life Society, Chidananda set out on a world tour. One of his last acts before leaving was to serve a farewell dinner himself to the people of the ashram and his visitors, and to offer food to his own guru, the founder of the ashram. Chidananda ate with knife and fork, a practice normally looked down upon by traditionalists. It is a measure of the indifference of this very modern man to beliefs he considers irrelevant. One of the principal guests was Swami Parvatika from the temple at Badrinath, 150 miles up the Ganges. In the winter, his ashram is snowbound, and he comes down river to warmer parts. Swami Parvatika, together with Shivananda, the founder of Rishikesh Ashram, are considered to be two of the great 5 Indian saints of this century. Parvatika would be classed among the leading musicians of India too, in the same rank as Ravi Shankar. At Rishikesh, I listened to him playing the rag Bhairavi on an instrument of his own design, a combination of sitar and zither. On the day of Chidananda's departure for his world tour, the whole ashram lined up for the inevitable group photograph. Photographs are hardly unusual in India, but there was something incongruous in this performance too, which took me back to Delhi airport. Perhaps it's just that even in India, you look upon saints as people from another age. It's still not easy to associate them with things like cameras and jet aircraft. The disciples gathered round for their farewell wishes. They kissed feet and exchanged gifts and garlands. Even I was singled out for one from Chidananda. I, the passing visitor and Muslim. But then the rule of his order is quite plain. When a man becomes a sannyasi, it says, he renounces all possessions, all distinctions of caste, and all attachments to any particular country, nation, or religion. Just before he left, he touched the feet of his deputy, Swami Chidananda, who in his absence will preside over the affairs of the Divine Life Society. So the saint and public figure left Rishikesh, the place of religion, for his world tour. But not as a missionary. There is no place for the arrogant evangelical in Hindu thought. A man convinces or converts himself. His aim is to seek communion with God. How he achieves it is his problem. Serve, love, meditate, realize. The teachings of the Divine Life Society and of Swami Chidananda. But even in India, there is not always approval for men of this gentle thought, for men who strive to reach the heart of their own religion, and by so doing, as Gandhi said, reach the heart of the others too.